In this video, I want to help you organize your Google Drive just a bit. I want to give you a few tips and tricks to keeping things organized so it's easier for you to find your files and folders. The first thing I want to do is to encourage you to use lots of folders. If you just have a long string of files, it gets very difficult to find your way through them and to find things that relate to each other. So I would encourage you to use lots of folders, and then folders with inside folders. It's better to have a lot of folders, with each folder having a few things inside, than just one giant drive with a list of hundreds and hundreds of standalone files down there. So that's my first tip. Use lots of folders. My second tip is use visual tricks so that those folders are easier to find and recognize. And for me, that's using colors. You can use a color scheme to help you identify your folders in Google Drive. Now, the colors don't relate to files. The colors of these icons in front of the files are telling you the type of file it is. But if you create a new folder in Google, it will just be this generic dark gray folder. But you can click on any folder and choose change color, and you can pick one of the colors that it relates to. I'm going to change these attendance cards to green, and that fits my color scheme because every folder that's green is a folder that contains items relevant to River Street School and River Street School alone. If it's this light sort of bluish, teal, whatever color that is, that's a Birkin file. If it's yellow, that's part of my Google Classroom instruction. Purple folders, IPM. Blue folders, my own personal documents. So just by quickly scanning through, I can quickly find the River Street documents that I need because they're color-coded. So I would encourage you to use colors with your folders to make things easier to find. I would also encourage you to add some symbols or emoticons, things that will also visually help organize. For example, you can see that these things are pulled to the very top because they have a symbol in front of them. Symbols always come first when Google alphabetizes things. So to make sure that these come to the very top of my list because I use them so often, I want those to have symbols. Then I have some things that have the number 1 in front of them. After that, everything can just flow in alphabetical order, and I'll be fine with that. But you can use numbers and symbols to pull things to the top of your list for things that you want to see a lot. I'm going to jump over to the shared drive just a moment and show you one other example of using icons or emoticons. Here I've put a picture of an apple because apples make me think of fall. And this is our fall data document that teachers need to locate a lot. And as you look through, this bright red color over here kind of catches your eye. Makes it a little easier to remember, oh, just look for the apple and that's our fall data. So you can incorporate things like that as well. These little colors help. And the colors can go at the back of the file name if you want. If I put it at the front of the file name, it will pull that to the very top because, again, symbols and punctuation marks get alphabetized first. I also want to talk for just a moment about when you would put one document in 2 different places and how you would do that. And I'm going to use this as my sample here. I use this handout multiple times every week. When I give someone a password reset, I want them to know their temporary password and then the steps for creating their new password. Now, because this relates to email, this document is in my email folder. But because I use it so much, it's also in my handouts folder. Neither one of those folders are sitting here at the top of my file drive, but I do have the handouts and flyers over here in my starred items, and there's my password reset document. Now, if I right-click on it, I can add a shortcut to my drive, and what that means is I can put a copy of it anywhere else I want. That's how I got it in both my handouts folder and my email folder. Yes, I could have just made a copy of the document and dragged one copy into each folder. But now when I update one, it doesn't update the other. But if I specifically move a shortcut to another folder, now if I update it in my email folder, it's also updating in my handouts folder. So I hope that makes sense to you. The benefit of having something in two places, but you know that by updating one, you've updated the other. So hopefully those tips will help you organize your Google Drive a little bit so that it's easier for you to find things and easier for you to share documents among your own folders so that you can update them more readily. Those things, hopefully, will help you be more successful working in your Google Drive.